Hi, I'm David Lancaster, and this is my wife, Jennifer. We're here in the sanctuary where we were married almost 27 years ago this March. 5 years later, our infant son was baptized here. After getting married, we became very active in the church and our Sunday school class. We were both confirmation mentors, active in UMM and UMW. Jennifer played handbells, and I played bass guitar in the first praise band here in the sanctuary. Try to imagine that. Out of all of those things we did, the one thing we didn't do was commit to tithing.
And I still can't even believe we're saying that. We read the scriptures. We knew people that told us that they stepped out in faith and that God provided more than they could ever imagine. But for some reason, we couldn't commit to giving that specific 10%. We still committed to giving, and each year when we got our church statement and we did our taxes, we could compare between the two, what we took in and what we gave, and many times we paid the 10%, but we never did it purposeful. And we also know that tithing does not involve just writing a check. It involves your relationship with God and proving to Him that you are going to give everything of yourself and that you trust that He will take care of you.
Over the past 27 years, we have lived in 3 different states. We've worshiped in 4 different churches. We've been blessed with more ups than downs. Even the downs were just health issues. But it was in 2014 that things changed unexpectedly for us when I lost my job. The day before we put our son on a plane to head back to Texas and go to Texas A&M for the second semester of his freshman year. Fortunately, Jennifer still had her job, but we decided to use this as an opportunity to move back down here to Cypress. Little did we know that it would take over 9 months for me to finally find a job down here in Houston. During that time, we sold our home, we put most of our belongings in storage, and moved into a small apartment in Northern Virginia. And then when I got a job, moved into a small apartment here in Houston. We were fortunate to be able to continue to pay our bills and to continue to give to the church.
But we used up a lot of our savings.
Yeah, we used up a lot of our savings, but fortunately we moved on.
And 2 days before Thanksgiving, we were fortunate to be in a home. And if I think back to that year of 2014, I can still feel the financial and the emotional stress, and it made me a different person. I feel a little more vulnerable, a little more nervous about the future. I kind of want to keep as much money as I have and set it aside for the inevitable things that are going to happen to us. So you can imagine feeling that way, how surprised David and I both were when last January had in front of us, during the Stewardship Campaign, we had in front of us our pledge card, and we both looked at each other and said, we need to tithe. And as we talked about where did that come from, we realized that God had really been putting on our heart this need to tithe since we moved back to Cypress. And David said he heard things that people said in his men's group. We heard things that were said in our amazing Sunday school class. We would hear things in a sermon from the pulpit, and we would reflect back on everything we went through in 2014. And so we realized that all of those things were planting seeds in us that would later come to fruition when we decided to finally make the commitment to tithe, to purposefully say, for the next year, we are giving you 10% and trusting you with everything in our lives. And we think it's so poignant that in all those years and going to all those churches, it wasn't until we came back to Cypress, to our home where it all started, that we first were brave enough to make the decision to tithe.
This is an exciting time to be in the church. We're going through another stewardship campaign, which causes us to look at the vision and all of the ministries here. We actually wish our son was small again because there's so many exciting things going here, so he could go through the children's ministry and youth ministry again. So now you've heard our story, which is not unlike many others. All we're saying or all we're asking is to trust in God and listen to Him and where He leads you. Even an incremental step is a step in faith. It took us 26 years to finally truly listen to God and start tithing, and we're glad we did.